Well, speaking of ridiculous, the government continue going on about misinformation and disinformation, and so the Labor government have established a portal whereby people can report fake news. But it's backfired spectacularly because people have started submitting examples of the Labor Party's campaign advertisements and advertising for fact-checking. The ALP website portal asks people to fight lies and fake news by submitting examples, and they've been absolutely overwhelmed by examples that Labor politicians have been tweeting out. During the nuclear argument particularly, we had ridiculous memes from Labor politicians, such as you see on screen. And so people have been submitting these examples of fake news and lies to the Labor Party fact-checkers, since the Labor Party is so concerned about misinformation and disinformation. I'm not sure this fact-checking portal will continue, Liz. It might just be quietly removed.
Quietly removed.
They'll be quicker to get rid of that than they will dodgy visa people.
Oh, well, it's a lot easier just to take a portal off the web. This reminds me of when Scotland passed those hate speech laws and then got slammed with thousands of complaints of the government's own racism, which they defined as hate speech, given their own Prime Minister had given that infamous white. There's all these white people. All the bureaucracy is white here in Scotland. And people were pointing out the fact, hang on a minute, you guys have classified hate speech in this country and you've fallen foul a lot of times yourselves. So I love the trolls. Keep it coming, Australians. Like, doesn't that just make you happy?
I know, it's great, isn't it? But don't forget that, this is just some Labor Party website, right? It's not an official thing. But the government actually wants to pass, I wish they would part with it, just send it off into the ether. They want to pass misinformation, disinformation laws that would put ACMA in charge of deciding whether or not things that people post online and we say here on television are misinformation and disinformation, etc. So the government has now had a little taste of how this could go. Maybe you should pass the misinformation, disinformation laws.
Don't even.
And then, much like in Scotland, we can just send in everything politicians say and get ACMA to rule on that. Just jam up the servers, jam up the system, have the bureaucrats going 100 miles an hour, working out whether when Anthony Albanese said he'd take $275 off your power bill, that was misinformation and disinformation.
The problem with your plan is when there's complaints about us with misinformation, we pay the lawyer fees. And when we complain about the government's misinformation, we pay the lawyer fees. So that's where that plan falls down.
And also they make the rules. So, of course, and we know that the government isn't included in the misinformation, disinformation bill. It's just you and me. It's the media. It's everybody but the government. They can still say whatever they like.